and gentlemen and young people, welcome to the City Council chambers and to the public hearing on the city budget. I welcome you all here tonight on behalf of the City Council. And I would ask you if you would all just please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Fair enough? The clerk, if she would please call the roll.
Curran. Here. Haddad. Knapp.
Here.
Levy.
Present.
Seabury.
Here.
Stanley. Here. Taylor.
Here.
Cola.
Here.
Nagershev. Callis. Pavo.
Present.
Sadi. Visconti. Darcy.
Here.
Wetmore.
Present.
Nero.
Here.
Perkins.
Present.
Shanice. Rotella.
Here.
Scozzafava.
Here.
Teichel. Present.
Would the clerk please record that there are 17 members present? Well, 4 members are absent, 3 members are absent. I see Mr. Sadi in the back trying to make his way into here. I believe Mr. Haddad is working late, and Mr. Hallis is, I believe, also working, and Mr. Nagershev is out of town. So the clerk would please record Mr. Sadi as being present. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I would just ask you, please, that the recording system here in the chambers is very sensitive, and it really only can pick up one voice at a time. And if there are multiple voices happening at the time, it's very difficult for us to get a proper record of the minutes. So I would ask you to just please let one person speak at a time, and we will hear everybody's concerns here tonight. I'm going to read the legal notice for the meeting, and just one other. I see Mr. Hallis trying to come into the back, so we have Mr. Hallis present also, so the clerk would record that. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Danbury will hold public hearings at which parties and interested citizens will have an opportunity to be heard in relation to the following, copies of which are on file in the Legislative Assistance Office for public inspection. Number 1, 2012 Neighborhood Assistance Act. Number 2 is an ordinance making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012 and ending June 30th, 2013, and a resolution levying the property tax for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012 and ending June 30th, 2013. Item number 3 is an ordinance appropriating $3 million for public improvements in the 2012-2013 capital budget and authorizing the issuance of $3 million bonds of the city to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. And number 4 is an ordinance setting sewer rates as of July 1st, 2012. And number 5 is an ordinance setting water rates as of July 1st, 2012. Said public hearings will be held on Monday, the 16th day of April, 2012, at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers in City Hall, 155 Deer Hill Avenue, Danbury, Connecticut. It was attested by Jean A. Natalie, Legislative Assistant, and the members of the Council will remain after for the Committee of the Whole for item number 1. Mrs. Tanner?
Mr. President, I had a very hard time hearing you read those, that notice. If you could just get them to...
Thank you.
We need
Folks,
silence.
Folks, again, if I could just please remind you, we need it as quiet as possible for everybody to hear. I will tell you myself personally, I'm very hard of hearing, so if there's a lot of extra noise, I can't hear things well, and it's difficult for me to run the meeting. So if I just ask everybody to please just control the noise as best they can. And I appreciate people with the big signs, And I hope that you'll be respectful of the people that are sitting behind you as you have those big signs. And if you want to hold them up, you certainly can move to the back of the room and hold them up. I just don't want to interfere with somebody else's view of the city council and our ability to have an interaction with you tonight. Public hearings are for the council to hear your opinion on what we're hearing tonight, which primarily I would say is the budget with most of you tonight. So we're here to listen to you. We don't interact, we don't answer questions. We'll do that in our committees later on or in our committee budget meetings after in the main meeting. So you're welcome to come up and talk to us. And we'll move right into item number 1, which is the 2012 Neighborhood Assistance Act. Does anyone in the public wish to speak to the council regarding the Neighborhood Assistance Act? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 1, Neighborhood Assistance Act? Anyone in the public wishing to address the council on the Neighborhood Assistance Act? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2, which is the ordinance making the appropriations for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012, levying a property tax for the fiscal year. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 2? Mayor Bowden?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my privilege to be here this evening. Mayor Mark Bowden, 23 Allen Avenue, Danbury, Connecticut. I also want to congratulate Alexandra for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Good job. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, I come here to make a couple of quick remarks. I know you've got a lot of folks here and you've got a long agenda in front of you, so I'll be brief as possible. Just a couple of observations I want to make about the spending plan that you received in public comment on tonight. One is that while we certainly recognize the importance of all city operations, everybody throughout the organization, both on the city side and on the school side, is working very diligently and very hard to ensure that our budget will work in a way next year that will deliver the services that we believe that we can afford in terms of those services. Tonight we are visited by a lot of folks that are here that are concerned about the Head Start program. I just want to make it clear that, and I think the council knows, but I'm not sure if folks know, we can't make a decision about Head Start. We don't do that here. That's done at the Board of Education. But nonetheless, folks are here to discuss that issue, and we certainly respect that and honor them for taking time out of their day. So I think it's only appropriate to mention just a couple of things as it relates to the school side of the ledger. Schools represent over 50% of our total budget. I don't think it's any secret that we are, like every city and town in Connecticut, on what can only be described as an unsustainable path when it comes to school finance and school spending. And why do I say that? I say that because right now as we sit here, in order for us to meet the full Board of Education request that was made this year, that would be approximately $7 million, we would have to have approximately $250 million of new construction that would happen in the city. Now I can tell you that our best year in terms of permits that have been pulled in the city was back in 2007, and we did $180 million of new permits. We've never been able to generate that kind of revenue. And even if we could, it would be doubtful that we could sustain that each and every year to maintain the ever-escalating requests that we see coming from the board. So that puts us in a very difficult position to be able to fund not necessarily everything we want to fund, but to fund what we need to fund in order to ensure that we have an education for our children. Next year, building permits are slated to be approximately $80 million. Significant, drastic cut. Every one of our line items in terms of revenue has been cut as well due to the economy and the economic crisis. Everything from insurance to permit revenue is down dramatically. And we program that in the budget because we know that we can't just make up revenue as we go along. So those are difficult challenges that we face, not to mention some of the other things that I mentioned to you during my budget address. This year we're required to put in $9 million in our pension funds, spread across our collective bargaining agreements. Of the $9 million, $2 million, $1.8 million, is for school personnel because they participate in our pension. Now that money doesn't show up on their bottom line because we bear that cost on the other side of the budget. but nonetheless, it's still a school expenditure that we have to spend. In addition to that, we're doing a number of different capital investments. All of you are well aware of this. Everything from building a new building to Head Start, which is a $7 million investment, as well as boilers, windows, roofs, and other work that's being done in addition to our long-range planning to be able to accommodate our growing enrollment. So this year we had a tough and difficult task in front of us. We've increased the Board of Education on the city side by $1.5 billion. Let me just review that with you. $900,000 in the direct appropriation, $385,000 of the charge back to Parks and Rec that we've agreed to once again pay for ourselves. It's a net increase to the board. And an additional $300,000 of money that we reprogrammed to go back into the Board of Education's budget. So that's a $1.5 million increase. In addition to that, last week I met with the governor as well as the Commissioner of Education to discuss the new funding that's available under what they're calling Alliance Districts. That's an additional $1.7 million that Danbury will be able to take advantage of. We got a little work to do there, no question about that. I feel a lot better after meeting with them today than I did on Wednesday, but we still have to put together a program that will be able to accommodate what they're looking for, and I believe that we can do that. So all those are challenges for us, but I think that today we're in better shape than we were, say, at the beginning of last week. And then finally, I think the most important thing that you have to understand is that we're asking for a greater contribution from our residents. Our residents are going to have to pay more this year than they paid last year. That's a difficult thing for us to do in this economy. Why is it difficult? Because 164 families, 164 homes, 164 houses, places with children in them, received pre-foreclosure notice in January and February. We've got tough decisions to make. Is it better to have a student in a classroom of 26 or 27 for 8 hours and then be able to go home at night to a home? Or do we raise taxes, force more people out of their home, and have somebody go home to a shelter or a hotel or motel at night? That's a terrible decision to make. It's awful. But unfortunately, it's one that we have to make. That's what we got elected to do. So while we couldn't give the Board of Education everything we wanted to give them, we have been able to give them more this year than they got last year. Let's make no mistake, this is not a cut. This is an increase to funding. There's more net money this year than there was last year. And I'm sure that you'll see in your wisdom be able to give them more next year than there was this year, because that's what we do here. So at the end of the day, while sometimes we can't fund everything we want, I believe we're funding everything that we need. So I appreciate your time here, and I appreciate you listening. We certainly understand and respect the Head Start program that the folks here are representing, and we are proud and committed to that program. And remind this council that we are committed because we are spending a significant amount of taxpayer dollars and resources in building a brand new building for them. So with that, I thank you for your time, Mr. President. Thank the council for the hard work. I know there's a lot of folks here, and you got a lot of work to do. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Waller, I see you have your hand up.
David?
I got it now.
Thank you. My name is Lynn Waller, 83 Highland Avenue in Danbury. I don't have a yellow shirt on tonight. I didn't know that there were going to be that many of them here, but it looks like it's nice. Congratulations to fill the chamber. It's not often I see that. So, amen. And I've been in a lot of them. I wanted to bring up something on the DTV. Now that the budget is under the IT at $6,500, is that enough to pay for the equipment, etc.? The budget narrative line is 10905350, and it's at $6,500, and it's maintenance, supplies, and part-time salary expenses, an ongoing need to upgrade the system. The equipment does need to be upgraded, I will grant you that. Even if the job is part-time, it should be a paid job, just like it is in Ridgefield. The gentleman has volunteered for years, and I think it's time that he gets some pay for all of this effort that he has put forward. Also, I wanted to bring up the sewer and water fund. I've never understood why the city has a minimum water usage of 15,000 gallons. As a family of two, that is twice what I use. My house is metered, so the city knows actually what I use, and it's 7,000 gallons a quarter. So I protest paying for twice what I use in water, but I have never been able to make a difference when I come here to speak with you all on this. On top of that, my sewer bill is, I think, 90%, it could be 80% of what my water bill is. Therefore, by charging me for water I do not use, you're making me pay for more sewer than I actually use. Even in the summer, when my water bill gets down to 7,000 gallons a quarter, my water usage goes into the garden and not down the sewer line. So my sewer bill for use assumes that 90% goes down the sewer, so I am being overbilled for my sewer usage as well. Now you're increasing the capital fund in the sewer budget, so our bills will increase even more. We have meters on our water. Shouldn't the city have an accurate reading? Why must I pay for more water than I use among those lines and meter our sewer usage and charge the residents more accurately? As for salaries, I may be mistaken, but I thought I heard last year that the mayor said the only people getting raises were the union employees. When I checked my last year's budget book compared to this year's budget book, I found that everyone on the city side, except the mayor, the treasurer, and the town clerk, got raises. Most of them, I will grant you, were in the 2.75%, except for the few. There were ones that one got a 6%, one got a 3.5%, and one got a 25% increase. Total money of $89,000, actually it's $80,240. These raises not only cover folks making in the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range, but they also are making well over $100,000. By all these increases that are paid by the taxpayers and our incomes remain stagnant or decreasing, please consider these raises for non-union employee workers. We can't afford it. Union people, we have no choice. I understand it's in the contract, but non-union should be held firm until the economy turns around. Thank you. I honestly heard that we were only giving increases to union people because it was in contracts and we had no choice. But when I went back to check the budget, everybody got an increase last year except the top 4 people. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
I'm not going to use the microphone because we have a feedback issue. So, sir, I'll call on you next. You want to come up? Yes, sir. Can you state your name and your address for the record?
I'm Charles O'Boyle, 16 Lower Lake Road. I wanted to say some other things, or start with some other things this evening, but when I heard the mayor say that there was a tough decision to make, and apparently has been made, that you're going to have 164 families lose their homes so that we can keep class sizes smaller, I'm really shocked. That's what I heard him say. I will say this, that I heard over WLAD that there's a 3.5% increase in the budget. To me, for me, since I own a home and I pay taxes, it'd be about $400. Now, if it was $400, it would be no deal, but it's $400 for as long as I live in my house. Just as All of the increases before now have never gone away. And I have always heard the same messages. It's a bare bones budget, that we absolutely have to do this. We had an emergency, we had to repair the roof, we had to repair the wall, we had to repair the windows. I've never seen any of those monies that were spent for those emergencies come back to us. Hey, the budget went down this year, we didn't have to build a new roof. That doesn't happen. You just find the next thing it goes to. I have some ideas for you guys, because you always say, it's a bare bones budget. There's nothing we can do. I understand that among other things, we're buying a new fire engine that's going to cost $1 million a copy. My thought is, by the way, I understand the replacement is 12 years old. I'll bet there's a lot of people out here with cars that are older than 12 years old, but put that off to one side. What would it cost to refurbish that truck? What would it cost to completely renovate it and make it new? Could they get that done for $250,000? $500,000? I bring these things up because I wonder which of you really look at that. I understand that our police, for instance, are all hourly. Oh, some are called salary, but if they go over 40 hours, they get overtime. That's not salary. That's hourly. I always worked in the private sector, and I was always salary. And when I was very young, and I talked to my first boss, and I said, how long do I have to work? I mean, what is my work day? And the guy said, as far as I'm concerned, it's 2 hours, we just have to get this work done. Well, it was 14 hours, but he said, if you get it done in 2, go home in 2. But if it takes you 14, you're still getting paid the same amount of money. Why can't our senior police be paid like that? Why can't they simply be made management? And say, here's the salary, it's a great salary, but if you really don't want to work overtime, then we'll replace you, because we'll find somebody who will. That's the way you do it in private industry. There's lots of people here who work in private industry, and they know, guess what happens when no more money comes in? They cannot call up their current customers and say, by the way, you got to send me a check for 3.5% more, because that's what I need this year. They either get new business, or they find a way to use the money that they have and do with less. And that's what I'm asking you this evening to do. Take a look at everything and say, what would I really do if this was my house? If this was what I made, what I have to spend? What would I do? You'd spend less somehow. I'm asking you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gladys Cooper. I reside at 71 Beaver Brook Road, and I'm chairperson of the Danbury Board of Ed. I have a brief statement that I would like to read, and to Mr. Chairman and all the councilmen and women, I would like to say I hope that you enjoy your summer. I'd just like to read this statement concerning the Danbury Board of Ed and the school system. We are no longer providing the quality of education that we were just a few short years ago providing to our students. This is a fact, and it's nothing that is in question. Rather, this is the new reality for the city of Danbury. Our once highly regarded school district has been severely weakened by years of underfunding. As a Board of Education, we've had to make many difficult reductions over the past 4 years because of inadequate funding. However, we have chosen to keep as many teaching positions as possible. In doing so, we have been forced to eliminate a great many administrative positions. We have also eliminated kindergarten aides, secretary, and reduced our medical services. Excuse me, I'm going to take a deep breather, so I'm nervous.
Take your time. Don't be nervous.
That's only you, right? One thing that I truly believe that's very important to me, and I can't provide a quality education to all children. I don't care where they come from, what type of language that they speak. In doing that, I also understand.
Folks, if we're gonna clap on everything, it's gonna be a long, long night. We're gonna be able to get everybody to say what they want to say to us. So if you just refrain from the applause, it would be really greatly appreciated. We really get everybody heard here tonight, and that's really why we're here. So if you do that, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also believe that we have a motto in the boardrooms that states, it's all about peace. And that's why I have served on the Board of Ed for over 20 years. And I keep asking myself, why do you continuously put yourself through this pain? Because it is a pain. I hate coming before the common council because I know that you have a job to do. And I also know on the other hand, we have a job to do. Sometimes we debate and we make decisions and it's not going to make everybody happy. But we have to do what's best for the school system. So as I come down a bit more, I'm going to finish my closing remarks. We have closed the school and have had to increase class sizes. We have eliminated many programs such as our middle school family and consumer science program and our technology education program. We have had to reduce the district full-time gifted program to a small after-school program. We have also been forced to reduce elective courses at the high school. We have also eliminated an assistant superintendent. We now have the smallest central office administration staff of any school system in Connecticut. We have cut our textbook budget in half and have had all but eliminated our professional development program. While everyone understands the very difficult economy that our country has experienced, the Danbury Public School has suffered more than most. We have not fallen in our funding level to 100. We have now fallen in our funding level to 149 out of 169 school systems, and it appears that it's going to get even worse. Some have said to us, we only give you your bottom line allocation. The Board of Education decides what to cut. This is like a parent saying to 3 children, I'm going to give you enough food for only 2 for you to eat. You decide who will go hungry. And unfortunately, growing up in the South, I've sort of been in that position. It will take years to undo the damage, and that has already been done. This is why tonight, I'm asking you to help us rebuild Danbury Public Schools. Help us to bring back our system back to the level of quality that it once had. Help us to provide the community with a kind of school system that is not only deserved, but also what we expect. The City Council has a critical decision to make. While you do the right thing for children, will you do the right things for children? The City of Danbury allow us to provide them with an appropriate education. It is all about kids. Thank you.
Bill Katzen, 13 Johnson Drive in Danbury. Good evening, everybody. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me, and some of you don't want to know me. This is big government at its best, and I work for big government. As a taxpayer, I didn't have children from 1989 till mid-2008, 2007. So now I'm a stakeholder with children in the school system, and this is very important. I didn't go to Head Start, and I did 27 years in federal prison. That's a joke. They didn't have Head Start when I was a kid, but they have it now. And it's the achievement gap, that what they fulfill. And it's very important for our children. And our children need that. I have 2 children that benefited from the Head Start program, and I can't see it being cut. It's a very important link in this community, and of course the greater Danbury area, in this great city of Danbury. That's it. Thanks, Chuck.
Drive, Head Start, a teacher. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. And I want to tell you how many of the Head Start children start their year in September. Many have never been away from family, let alone their parents. Some do not have any English, are not potty trained, and socially they need support to function in a group. 10% of our children are special needs. Most have never sat in a group to listen to directions or a story. And these needs go across all ethnic groups and all financial backgrounds. By December, they are now trained, taking care of their daily needs, starting to communicate with staff, and more importantly, with each other, for socialization, and learning to follow directions. They love to listen to stories and are eager to read on their own. By April, most of the kindergarten children are very anxious to master the skills they will need the following year. The returning children are already learning to write and identify their names and are learning the social skills they will need to succeed. Because of our partnership with the Board of Ed for many years, our special needs children are also moving forward in a positive manner. I want to say one more thing. Not only do our children grow, but so do their parents. All our parents are encouraged to learn English, and besides, many go back to school to get an education. They are our best advocates in the community to telling everyone they should learn. Over the years, our parents have been encouraged to attend not 1, but 3 parent-teacher conferences and 2 home visits. This instills the importance of their child's interest in their education. And I personally and many of my coworkers have had a 98% success rate for attendance, conferences, and functions in the classroom. Lastly, I would like to share that Head Start has over 2,000 performance standards that we must follow that are mandated by the federal government. Last year we were monitored by using those standards. We have here in Danbury an A+, 100% on 2,000 performance standards. That's what we achieved here in Danbury. Not only does this show, this lifts all of Danbury up, not just Head Start. It shows that with the incredible partnership between the Board of Ed and Head Start, what we can accomplish, and it shows that all of Danbury, not just a few, care about all of its children. Please keep this partnership in place so all children will have the right to grow, achieve, and finally give back to the city of Danbury in the years ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dan Prober, and I live at 93 Park Avenue in Danbury. And I would just like to say that we really should support the Head Start program because it works. As you heard from the previous speaker, we have an outstanding staff and an outstanding system here. I am also a board member of Connecticut Institute for Communities, so I'm very familiar with the entire program of Head Start from top to bottom, also being the parent of a special needs child that went through the program. And I have to tell you that their staff is so dedicated and does such a great job with the kids that they have that you want to keep programs that work. I am all for shedding programs that don't work or cutting them or making changes to them. No one wants to waste money on things that don't work, but this program is a resounding success and you need to keep it fully funded. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you to the council members and president here tonight for the opportunity to speak. My name is Sabrina Ross. I reside at 25 Maple Avenue here in Danbury, lifelong resident. And as a former family advocate for the Head Start program, we have, over the last 35 years, created a successful partnership with Danbury Board of Ed and the city officials alike, and have developed and continue to improve upon a program that has achieved an A+ rating from federal reviews. That A+ rating has produced a graduate rate of over 5,000 Head Start students, 5,000 children that are successfully prepared to enter the Danbury public school system. Cutting monies from that art program would cut an invaluable connection, not just for the children, but speaking as a former advocate, many of the families, the connection between community resources and families that are struggling. Families that may have needs but not know how to connect their needs with the resources in the community. Head Start works for children in preparing them for, as Mrs. Lamano stated, socialization, being able to be more independent on their own, also being a single mother. It kind of helps buffer what working parents may not have the time to do in their busy schedules and trying to maintain homes and roofs over their heads or food on the table. Head Start is in dire need to be continually funded so that our community will produce children that are capable and prepared to give back to the community in which they were born in and live in. Thank you.
I'm kind of tall, so I'm going to move this up a little bit over and I'll just crush it. Good evening. I'm Ellen Van Dyke Bell, and I reside at 21 Driftway Road. And as you can see, I have the shirt on, so I'm here to speak about Head Start. And I'm not only here to speak about Head Start, I'm actually here to also support the Gather Group and the education and the superintendent's budget. But I would like to first start off with is a little story. You have a child who started school, who loves math, loves science, wants to go to school every day because they love to learn. School is great. Then as they start going through the school system, the public school system, say they reach 3rd grade, all of a sudden, they don't like school anymore. Why? Because they happen to be gifted and talented, and they're bored. They're bored because the teacher, unfortunately, has to spend all their time, because of the No Child Left Behind Act, getting the rest of the kids up to par. So what happens is, they don't like school anymore, they don't want to go, they become disinterested. That child is my son. He's 9 and in 4th grade. Now, the reason why I'm doing a Head Start, and I'm speaking on the gifted children, because also I'm part of an organization called the Gifted and Talented Children Have Equal Rights as well, because he has a right to an education. He has a right to an education for him, to an education that will meet his academic needs. If you cut the school budget, that will not happen. And then let's see what the downfall is. Kids who are disinterested in school, we know what ends up happening. They either drop out of school, or they become delinquents. They end up in the criminal justice system, and that's not good for society at all. The gifted and talented kids are the kids we really do need to educate. We certainly do not need to cut funds to our children. These are the kids that can come up with a cure for cancer, or a cure for AIDS, or alternative energy resources. These are the kids we definitely need to make sure we continue to educate. Now, let's go back to the Head Start program. If you take away the Head Start program, what happens? That means when kids enter school, that means the teachers are going to have to spend more time with those kids who didn't have a preschool education, educating those kids. Oh, they took the mic off. I can project my voice. They'll have to spend more time educating the kids And then what will happen is what's happening now in the school districts. Better? Well, look, I was about to preach up in here. So it's very important that we don't cut the school budget more so than it is already. It's certainly important for us to keep the Head Start program. Now, we also know, I'm a taxpayer, I pay taxes. Families look to come to Danbury or to towns based upon what? The school district, whether or not it's a good school. So we want to encourage people to move to Danbury, to make Danbury a great town, then we need to make sure we spend money and efforts into our public schools. The bottom line is this, pay now or pay later. Eventually, if we don't invest in our kids now, then their future and our future is not going to be well later. So I'm here today to fight for my son, and I'm here to fight for all the children who are in his position. And again, the Head Start program is it's very important so that we don't keep going down the track that we're going down now. And I'm also, as again, here to support the superintendent's budget because these children have a right to an education, and they're not getting it. We are failing our children, and enough is enough. Thank you.
Speech plan, but people want to talk very short. Ellen's tall and short, so it's a difference. Many of you know me. My name is Richard Gianelli, I'm a resident of Danbury, 18 Benson Drive. Most of you know me as a board member of the Danbury Board of Education. I'm also a member of 4 other educational nonprofit organizations. I'm also employed full-time as CFO of a large corporation. In addition, in 2 days, I'm 71 years old. The reason I say that is because people at least once a week say to me, why are you killing yourself doing all this stuff? And I think Mrs. Cooper and a lot of people here express the same thing. And that is, you believe in kids, it's all about kids, and every child deserves an equal and an opportunity to have an equal and quality education so that essentially they can be a productive citizen. Each of us, both on the council and the board of ed, has a very difficult job. We have to work with numbers that are given to us. Essentially, you can't get blood from stone. At the end of the day, we go back, we make our cuts. Essentially, services are cuts, or in my case, educational quality of some sort are cut. Since I've been on the board for about 5 or 6 years, I've been doing this constantly. And I'm saying to myself, this is insane. Somebody would say, you do the same thing over and over, look for different results. It's insanity. What I'm asking is, let's try to do something different. Because if we don't, next year, same place, same time, maybe same faces, maybe not so much same faces, we're going to be faced with the same thing. I don't have the answer to how to cure this, but I do think that maybe we should think out of the box. And I mentioned this, I talked to Mrs. Stanley and said maybe we should get together a group of stakeholders in the city that make up some sort of committee, representatives from the Board of Ed, the Common Council, the business people, parents, students, and to brainstorm to see how we possibly think out of the box, bring in more revenues into the city, and maybe as a whole, try to come back and come up with some thoughts to solve some of these problems. The other thing we should do is to see what we can do to be instrumental with our legislators in order to give us more of a funding on the educational share funding. I think Danbury is more depressed than the other cities. But again, another quote, somebody said, a house that is divided is not going to stand. And until we unite and come together with a different plan of attack or thinking outside of the box, I'm afraid to say that it's going to be business as usual next year. We'll have the same complaints, and I think we have to start thinking about doing something else. Thank you for your time.
I feel like you're going from the tall to the short to the tall to the short.
Folks, again, if I could just ask you to just keep the down.
name is Stephanie Fanning, and I live at 186 Middle River Road, but also to show them a taxpayer. I own 12 Middle River Road, 186 Middle River Road, and 8 Middle River Road. So I pay my fair share of taxes, and I was born in Danbury, I was raised in Danbury, I was educated in Danbury, and I plan to die in Danbury. I'm here today for my son for the Board of Education. I am not one to come up and get involved. I would rather be home watching the Game Show Network than to be here and taking an active role in politics. But because my son is gifted, and the Board of Education, the Danbury school system, is failing our gifted children, as Ellen Bell spoke. We got involved and we got together, and a group of us formed called the Gather Group, the Gifted and Talented Have Equal Rights. One of the people from the Board of Education call us an underground movement, but we've gotten their attention, and they have put in a line item for the gifted and talented into their budget. And I've gotten involved as a person that listens to the Board of Ed. They do not have a lot of fat in the public school system. My son's in there. He does not have a lot of extra things going on in King Street. And if Dr. Sal needs $127 million, you find $120.7 million and give it to him, because he needs it to educate our children. This is your watch. This is what's happening when you're on duty, so to speak. If we fail our children will fail us. Thank you.
I'll take you next, and I'll make you share in the back after that.
My name is Sharon DeCenzio. I live at 11 Myrtle Avenue.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Sharon what?
Sharon DeCenzio, 11 Myrtle Avenue. I'm sorry to read from this, but I'm nervous too. The current Board of Education talks mark the third year of myself following their process. I've had a chance to look at preliminary budget proposals and attend workshop and roundtable discussions. If I understand the statements the city has made concerning the availability of funds, coupled with the cuts that were made effective this current year and what's on the block for the upcoming year, it illustrates, I believe, a grim future for Danbury Public Schools, as well as the entire town of Danbury. I've lived in Danbury for 37 years. I've seen the quality of education in this town rise and fall throughout the years. In the 70s, my parents even pulled my sister and I out of Danbury Public Schools during the middle school years because they were so bad with violence and what appeared to be a complete lack of direction educationally. On the other hand, I was very happy in my scholastic life when I was able to return to attend DHS. I believe I received both an appropriate and enriching education. I also believe that at its heart, this town has always striven to attain the best it can with the resources it's had. At the Board of Education meetings, we hear that it's hard to make these cuts, but no one seems to want to address the white elephant in the room. Their budget proposals show raises being given, and I will say, I feel many teachers are working hard every day. And I also understand that the dollar amount may not solve all fiscal problems. However, I do feel that taking any raise under these circumstances is a slap in every Danbury resident's face. It has been stated many times that the union has mandated these raises, that it's out of the teachers' hands. This confuses me. I might be wrong, but my understanding of a union is that it represents a group of workers with a common interest involving pay, work environment, and benefits, etc. The teachers are the union. Either the union leaders are disregarding what the teachers want, or the teachers are not being very honest about all of this being out of their hands. It would then follow that the majority of these teachers are not putting the kids first. It seems to me, given these dire times, the Board of Education should be able to at least try to stand up to unreasonable requests for raises. Rather than take the path of least resistance, an attempt at an argument has to be made. I think that the job of the Board of Ed, as representatives of Danbury children, and really all citizens of this town, is to ensure that all members of the Cabinet are doing everything within their purview to make and maintain strong schools. It may be so that other towns are paying better wages, but is it at the expense of curriculum and structured learning? It is difficult for me to believe that towns like Wilton or Richfield, towns that were mentioned as salary comparisons, would tolerate the quality of education they are proposing to offer next year, let alone this current year. Getting these raises now is short-sighted. What happens next year? There won't be more money, there won't be anything else to cut. Raises on the back of inadequate education. Is this the right thing to do? At this point, as far as 2012 and 2013, the damage is done. The subpar performance of certain cabinet members cannot, Board of Ed cabinet members cannot be undone for next year. Looking forward, however, all residents must make it their job to demand of these same cabinet members do a better job working for Danbury's interests rather than settling for short-sighted, quick-fix solutions. It is important for any member of the Danbury community to remember that if our schools fail, our already precarious local economy will fail. Families do not want to buy homes in a town with bad schools, and businesses will not locate themselves in a town where there is no one who spends money. All residents and business owners have to hold the Board of Education and the Cabinet accountable for the decisions they make. These people work for us, and we are all affected, not the least of which will be current and future students. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ingrid Alvarez DeMarzo.
Can you sit and excerpt?
Sure.
The mic.
Ingrid Alvarez DeMarzo. I am the executive director of the Hispanic Center. Excuse me?
Your address, please.
87 West Street, right down the street. I'm the executive director of the Hispanic Center of Greater Danbury. But I am here before you to share a little bit about my own personal story. I am a graduate of Head Start. I am representative of many of the parents and children in this room. I am an example, or I'm a little bit nervous, a factual example of the return of investment that a community can do through education in a child. I am in this community every single day. I'm actually on vacation today, but this is very important for me to come. And as I walked into the room, I wasn't expecting the crowd, and I'm so proud to have so many of the Latino parents in this room who we work with every day, and their children and their families. Because what I would ask for you, ladies and gentlemen, to consider tonight is by cutting back, investing in programs like Head Start. Many of you, I work on different other aspects of community, and I'm usually the person that's called upon to represent my community when it comes to issues in the schools, when it comes to revitalization of downtown Danbury, and what factors and what elements do we need to be successful. And it starts by creating more people like me, where community invests in them. And in turn, people like me stay in their communities and give back and are effective and are impactful. And they're part of that budgeting mix. And if you were to calculate, and I know that we're living in really, really tough times where we've got to look at everywhere where we could save and how we survive this period of time in our economy. But if you calculate the economical impact that will have 10 years down the road, 15, 20 years down the road, where would it leave a community like this? When we don't have individuals successfully graduating high school, attaining higher education, and it starts with being able to give children the opportunity to be nurtured and to be educated and to really be given that head start in their educational careers. It's a gap that once a child falls behind, it's so difficult to make it up. And oftentimes when people come and visit me in my office and they look at the pieces of paper on my wall, and they're like, oh, you're a Columbia graduate. It took an entire community. I am one of 4 children of a single mother. And thanks to a program like Head Start, I had a safe, nurturing, educational environment to allow my mother to work and provide for us. And to be quite honest, I am what I am, and I'm not very different than the people in this room. And it started with something like Head Start. So thank you for your time this evening. I just wanted to share that with you. It starts with these little guys. We're probably hungry. It's dinner time. And if you could take that there's an economic impact in that. And sometimes, right now, maybe immediately it seems like that's where we need to cut. But just think about 10, 15, 20 years down the road, what that'll mean for the human capital in our community. And the lack of investment that we have the responsibility, or we have the choice today to make or not make. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Price. My father lives at 20 Washington Avenue. I'm a graduate of Park Avenue School, Rogers Park Junior High School, and Danbury High School. I'm here actually on, I have, ripped jeans and a t-shirt. I drove down from upstate New York, from a little town called Sylvan Beach. My father had an accident, was in the hospital after he hit his head, so I came down to be with my father. I'm also vice chair for the Policy Council, the Mohawk Valley Community Action Agency, which is in charge of the UPK classes, Head Start and Early Head Start classes in all of Central New York. I walked into the kitchen today to make a meal for my dad, who's laid up and has blood clot in his brain. And I hear this on the radio, that this is happening. We're facing the same types of budget problems in upstate New York. I felt compelled to come here today just to let you know a few things about Head Start and what it's done for myself and for my family. I'm getting off book. I had something that I wanted to say, so I'll just revert back to this and save some time. For a child being born into this world, they don't do that. It's not their choice to be born into the family and the situations that they're born into. The issues of the family that they're born into can predetermine in the earliest years of child's life the course that they will follow and be trained to follow. And also when they have children, those children will also jump on that bandwagon and also follow the same course. In the development of a child, the positive encouragement and the underlying support for healthy families and the interfamily relationships that develop through programs such as parent involvement, parent training. I had no idea there was such a thing as parent training. I'm really happy. I have 2 little girls, and I'm outnumbered in my home. My cat's female. With these things and these tools and these resources that families are able to tap into through the Head Start program, they broaden the horizons for the students, because the students are not just the children. The students are also the parents. So you're not only, this shirt, I looked at this shirt here and I said, Head Start means stronger schools. Yes, it does. But it also means stronger families. Stronger families mean better values. Better values from the ground up lead to better decisions later on in life. These are amazing, impacted things. Money being cut today. Wow, we don't need to spend the money on this shirt. Shirt's gone, we save $5. Awesome. That same $5 put towards a meal for a hungry child that's involved in the program has a ripple effect like a tsunami for that child for the rest of his life. There are children in my program in Sylvan Beach. Our program feeds approximately 26,000 meals to children. Underprivileged kids that can't afford all the time. They go hungry before they hit our program sometimes. I could cry over it, it's such a crime. I understand, so I'll get to this. Yeah, in helping the Head Start program build the bridge out of the situation they are in will help to create a productive, educated, and competent member of society. I believe that this program has helped many parents and children as well. So I urge you, just like I said this statement exactly to our government up there, new construction and immediate jobs, or a new vision for a child that did not have it before participating in the Head Start program. Thank you so much for your time.
I'll get to you in a moment.
Hi, Larissa LaCava, 7C Fairfield Ridge. I'm a Head Start parent. First, I would like to say that I don't understand why we're even here, because this is education. Everybody has the right to an education. My son is...
Use paperless as opposed to all this wasted paper. I know most of you guys have laptops, but I think you guys are supposed to get laptops in the city. I don't ever get to see you guys use them. You know, and this paper waste, it's not only this paper waste, it's just printers that are used to print out this stuff over and over again, and maintenance that's in charge of it. Now, I worked in publishing. I know how much it costs for a maintenance contract with printers. And I know how much it costs to service those things, and it's not cheap. So, you know, the mayor had this little presentation up here. I saw the word paperless, and I almost dropped my drink on my kid. Because, you know, these big bundles of papers that are binded, it costs a lot of money. And, you know, if you want to save money, you got rid of the water a couple of years ago. You know, get rid of the paper this year. You save yourself a lot of cash. And finally, I just want to say that, you know, look, we all know it's tough right now. Times are really hard. And we know that the education portion of the budget takes up the majority of the budget. And we know it's a pain in the butt all the time. But, you know, and I just had this conversation over there with our state senators and stuff over there. You know, one of the big problems here is that the city of Danbury is the 7th largest city in the state of Connecticut. Yet, you know, the 8th largest city in the state of Connecticut gets more money in terms of ECS funding because the formula is so whacked. And it would really be nice on a bipartisan scale, and I know it's kind of crazy, but on a bipartisan scale, advocate to your people there at Hartford to do something about this ECS formula so we don't get, you know, chirped around in terms of the amount of money we get, because the decision making you guys are, the hard decisions you're making right now in terms of education is partly due because Danbury's not giving this the amount of money it should get based upon a really outdated, out of whack and ECS formula that doesn't make any sense in the first place. I really don't understand how this city of New Britain get so much more money in funding. I know that's something to do with the grand list, and I want to get involved in particular, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense. And I wish you guys would really advocate more for your state lawmakers to do more to make it fair for people here in Danbury, because Danbury spends a lot of money up to Hartford. Danbury Mall makes a lot of money for the state of Connecticut. Fair Hunt makes a lot of money. Stu Leonard's makes a lot of money for the state of Connecticut, but we don't see a lot of that money coming back from Hartford. So, you know, that's all I have to say. I know it's a tough budget, and you know times are rough, but I really think that again, take a good, strong look at the way you guys are doing this education side of the budget, because you know last year was freshman sports, this year it's Head Start, next year it's going to be something else, and we got classrooms that are in closets, and it's a real shame because I like this city. I like raising my kids in this city, but you know, to be honest with you, I send my daughter to private school because I can't do all the hassles in the public school system. It's really sad. That's unfortunate. Thanks.
And then we're going to ask you folks, if you have something new to add to the conversation, we'll be happy to hear from you, but if we're going to keep going over the same thing, we hear you. We hear it and we hear you. So, ma'am, please go ahead.
My name is Dana O'Rourke. I live at 64 East Pembroke Road, and I am an ex-Head Start parent. And I wanted to just bring something different to the table. I am not a typical parent. I am not a single mom. I am married. I am involved in the community just like the rest of you. But I have a special needs child who got into the program at age 3. He's been in the program. He was in the program for 2.5 years, and he received speech services that he would have never gotten had he been aged out of birth to 3 and sat for 6 or 8 months until the next school year began. So thank you to Head Start for helping my middle son, Billy, and I urge you to please not cut the program for that. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Linda Costco. I'm the Executive Director for Danbury Children First at 83 West Street in Danbury. And I wanted to say that I think in this community that Danbury is very blessed by the amount of volunteerism and the commitment of many hardworking people. And that includes the City Council, the Board of Education, and our teachers in our schools. And Danbury Children First is a parent-led organization, and 75% of our board are Danbury parents. And our mission is for education and information for parents, and our goal is that all kids would have a good quality of life and be able to succeed in school. And as part of that work, we work with the schools in many cases. So I've worked side by side with principals, teachers, and administration. And many of them are doing 2 jobs right now. Now, I know it's a difficult time, and I'm not saying I have all the answers, hardly have any answers. But there's a few things. One is, I know ECS is a big problem, and we all, every one of us, should be advocating for something to change. And I know there's a lawsuit, and the mayor has been involved, and it's wonderful, but this could be another 5 years in court. And meanwhile, we got to do something for the kids. So I don't know all the answers, but the Head Start's here, and we know the Board of Ed makes the decision about the budget. But the fact is, if the Board of Ed doesn't have enough money to make the decisions for the priorities in the education system, it's very difficult. So it's very difficult, and I hope that we all work to advocate. And I know that things have been cut. Parents have been talking about electives that are cut. We have more study halls now. We have more kids that go into gym where you can have 50 kids because of music or art class and only have 25. We have, we're talking about capital improvements in schools. Yeah, there's roofs falling down. I had to cancel parent involvement program 3 times because the principal is dealing with leaks and a falling roof. And I know it's being addressed, and I know it's in the plan, but these are real things that are affecting our kids. So I would just like us to put Danbury children first. Thank you.
Well, let's just start working your way to the microphone.
I have been a student of Head Start, and I have been in touch with the teachers, and I've known them for a while. I know that if you take their jobs away, they can find new ones. What they won't find is the friendships that they made and the kids that need help. If they wanted to, they could leave, but that's not the point. The point is that they won't find the friendships that they have made throughout the years there. Many teachers are good friends, best friends. They wouldn't have become that if they hadn't met there. If you see there are old and young teachers, teachers that have had their chance at the Head Start experience, and teachers that might just get started. The kids that are in the program or have already been in the program have the chance to literally get a head start. To not have broken the bank by paying for private preschools, but to still have gotten the education that was needed, probably a better one. To receive an education where teachers cared for you and wanted you to succeed in life. That's not something you could find at a random school. It's something that my mom and dad found for me at Head Start. As you can see, I am Hispanic, and I will tell you that my home language is Spanish. I have never received any language on how to speak English, but I think that I speak it very fluently. I know that my parents are still improving English and that they are getting better every day. I know that I learned my foundation of the English language at Head Start, and that Head Start has given me the motive to keep learning English more than my parents could have taught me. It is true, I'm just a kid, but that doesn't mean I cannot realize what Head Start has done for me and can do for many more children if you let them. I am not sure if you're taking my words for granted or if I'm actually making a difference. I'm hoping for the best and that you won't shut down Head Start. I'm going to be straightforward. You need a wake-up call. You can't shut down an education service, especially an education service where kids who need help or can't pay for private schools go. It's a shame that you even thought of it. I hope that you take these words from a kid and listen to them. Thank you. Natalie Casanova, 32 Sleepy Hollow Drive.
First of all, my name is Rose Pennell. I'm a 39-year homeowner here in the city of Danbury. I know some of you. I'd like to thank the Common Council. I'd like to thank our Mayor Mollin, and I'd like to thank the Board of Education. before I have my little speech, I'm not going to bother reading this. Yes, as a homeowner, I can't afford the taxes next year. My house will be up for sale. It was up if I had to pull it out, but next year I'm going to sell it. I don't want to be one of those foreclosures. Head Start program are here in force. It's a wonderful program. I'm not knocking the program itself. It has many values for people who need it. It serves every child between 3 and 5. They have all the benefits that this city gives them. They have your classrooms, they have breakfast, they have lunch, they have snacks. The teachers are required to see that each one of them receive the 13 functional areas that each child deserves. I know, I'm one of them, and I graduated from that class with a 4-year college degree. But I can't afford it. I cannot afford another tax raise. And I know it probably costs another $300 to the $3,000 that it's costing me now. Head Start on a local level, on a state level, on a federally funded level. People are helping you. They are helping you. They will never close this program. In 1967, 68, Lyndon Johnson put a pilot program into being. It's called Head Start. And before I stop, it annoyed me to see this paper. And on it said, a false start. There is no such thing as a false start. False start to me is money, 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 and more money. Money does not buy education, not in that respect. I have a little note here. Money does not buy learning. Money does not make a child an achiever. Please Head Start, people. It'll always be there. It's been there since its inception in 1965. And it'll be there till the world comes to an end. Thank you, guys.
My name is Fanny. She's a from Croft Street. My last name is Pomavila. Mi experiencia como mamá ha sido ser testigo de los logros de mis hijos. My experience as a mother was to be witness to the honors of my child, to the blessings of my child. Mis hijos han alcanzado. Mi hija está en su primer año y yo estoy muy contenta de su aprendizaje. My children have reached his first year in first grade, and I'm very happy with his learning. Él está contando hasta 20 y se siente muy confiado cuando habla inglés. He is counting up to 20 and he is very happy with his speaking of English. Con respecto a mi hija, que actualmente tiene 6 años, está en kindergarten. With my respect, with my daughter who is 6 years old and is in kindergarten. In Morris Street School. According to her teacher, she's the #1 student in her class. Don't close Head Start. children need a strong education, a solid education since now.
Thank you. Can I get your name one more time? I'm sorry.
Name and address. Come forward. Okay, is there anything, anybody have anything new to add to the conversation? Ma'am? You can just hold up one second, we'll get this, get your name and address down for the rest of the conference.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, it's okay. Okay, we'll take the name and address.
Good evening to everybody. My name is Diana Gomez. I live on 29 Osborne Street. I just want to tell you a few words. Please, when you're going to take the decision to cut the Head Start program, please, you're not going to cut just a program. You're going to cut more than that. You're going to cut a smile. You're going to cut a dream. You're going to cut an illusion of many kids. I can tell you because I got my 2 little ones on the program. I can see how happy they feel when they wake up, when they are so happy. They ask me, Mom, just please go to the escuelitas, they call it that in school. When I pick up them, they come all the way. They told me the stories, how they nice was the teacher, the friends. When they are sleeping, they dream with school. They dream, they call their friends, they call the teacher, they sing. So please, when you're taking the decision, don't destroy the illusion of the first illusion of the children. Because there's many kids that are going to take that smile cut. Thank you.
Don't be so shy, you can raise your hand. Hope you have something new to add.
Good evening, my name is Angelica Lesnas and I live on 16 Colby Hill Road.
16 what?
Colby Hill Road. I'm a mom and I want to share why I think Head Start is very important for our kids. My older one, she's 5 and she's there now. She really improved a lot. Now she talks to people and she learned so many things that I'm amazed how smart she can get. And actually she said to me, Mommy, I'm a smart cookie. And I said, how come? I said, because I learned a lot in school. This is her last year and she actually is going to magnet school. And I think she got a lot of confidence from the Head Start and now she's going to do a lot better in the magnet school. I have a little one, she's going to be 3 in September, and she's ready to go to Head Start. But I have problems with the speech therapist. She actually needs therapy for speech. And I got very excited when I made the application for my daughter to go to Head Start, because I saw that Head Start will be a great opportunity for her to come out of her shelf and become more into people and express herself better. When I heard that they were going to cut Head Start, I don't know if I shake more when I heard that or I shake more in front of you guys, but it scared me. It really scared me because I think a Head Start is a strong base of education for our kids. And all you know that when you build something, you need a strong basis. And for me, Head Start is a strong base for our kids' education. So keep in mind, and just don't leave it tonight. When you guys go home, think of our kids. And actually, it will affect the kids, but it also will affect us. And as a parent, I really want the best for my daughters. And I think this is a good beginning. Head Start really, really are doing a great job for our kids. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else on this item that hasn't spoken relatively to what we heard tonight? Is there anything new to add, sir?
This will be short. Matthew Orr, 17 Ellie Out of Place. Years back, the town of Hazleton, Pennsylvania had a problem with illegal immigration. And there was a federal court case I'm sorry, I don't know the details, but I believe the federal court struck down part of their law that tried to limit the immigration that was going on. Since then, I believe it's about a year ago, the Supreme Court of the U.S. overturned that court and ordered them to retry the case. So basically, it looks like it will be legal for localities, states, or towns to put in place measures to limit illegal immigration. And I think Danbury needs that. Now, when you're talking about the education
Really relative to the
budget,
not really relative.
I understand. Let me just say, when you're spending money on the education budget, consider that you're spending money for citizens' money, and you may be spending it on people they didn't choose to be in the education system. If I can end it there, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Soila Jara, J-A-R-A. I'm living in 88 Elm Street. I'm single mom. I'm use the program. Please, not get the program. This help for the kids.
Anybody else wishing to address the council on item number 2? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 2? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 2? Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your cooperation here tonight. We're going to move on to our item number 3. Related to the budget, but not related to the Head Start funding. So let's just stand down for 5 minutes. So if you want me to use the restroom, take a break. Thank you, everybody. If I could call the meeting back to order, please. Thank you for your patience. Part of the public hearing. We're going to move on to item number 3, an ordinance appropriating $3 million for public improvements in the 2012-2013 year. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 3? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Okay, we'll move on to item number 4. The ordinance setting the sewer rate July 1st, 2012. Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item 4? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 4? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 4? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 5. Any member of the public wishing to address the council on ordinance setting the water rates as of July 1st, 2012? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 5? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 5? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Second. Motion been moved by Mr. Seabury, seconded by Mr. Taylor. All those in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, at this time, we're going to open the committee of the whole, and I'm going to ask the clerk to please call the roll for the opening.
Curran.
Here.
Haddad. Knapp.
Here.
Levy.
Present.
Seabury.
Still here.
Stanley. Here. Taylor.
Here.
Kola.
Here.
Merishek. Hallis.
Here.
Cabo.
Here.
Sadi.
Present.
Visconti.
Present.
Darcy.
Here.
Wetmore.
Present.
Nero.
Here.
Perkins.
Present.
Shanice.
Present.
Rotello.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Peschel. Present.
As the record reflects, there are 90 members present, 2 absent. And the record please reflect the same absences as stated in the opening of the public hearing. Please take up under committee of whole, item number 1 only, Neighborhood Assistance Act. What's your pleasure? Mr. Knapp? Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to recommend the adoption of the resolution authorizing the listed agencies to participate, apply for, and receive funding in the form of tax credits from the state of Connecticut through the Neighborhood Assistance Act.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp, seconded by Mr. Visconti. Under discussion? Seeing none, I'll try to remind all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? The ayes have it. This time, seeing no other business to properly come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Levy. Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Sheehan.
Point of order. And through the chair, I know we had a lot of discussions this evening regarding this Head Start program, but I'm sure, like others on this board, we don't know enough about this Head Start program. So through the finance director, can we get some financial reports from the Head Start so we can know what numbers we're dealing with? I know we talked about cuts, but we don't know anything about that program. Financial, if you may.
Actually, Mr. Sheehan, we're actually past that part. We're on the neighborhood assistance act on the vote, or the motion to adjourn. We're actually on the committee of the whole for the neighborhood, we're on the committee of the whole for the neighborhood assistance act.
I think there was a motion to adjourn.
And then there was a motion to adjourn.
It's not to be.
So, but you can just talk to Mr. Shingler offline. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.